Welcome into the Devil's Digest postgame show following Arizona State's 25-23 victory over West Virginia here at Mountain America Stadium this afternoon. The Sun Devils now improved to 7-3 on the season and 5-2 in Big 12 play. A much-needed win. And as always, my name's Justin Lestertosa. That's publisher Hod Rubino. And Hod, it feels like a consistent trend that every single game is dramatic, a white-knuckle victory. ASU finds a way to get it done yet again. And an interesting little nugget, Kenny Dillingham's team is 10-1 in the last 2 years in games decided by 7 points or less.
Yeah, Justin, look, we've tried to come here every post game to be creative, whether it's after wins or after losses. But sometimes I just got to copy and paste what I said in the win against Texas Tech and some wins earlier this year, and definitely a bunch of wins in 2024. Survive and advance. This team just finds a way to, even when they build up a lead, to somehow relinquish that lead and still come back with a very late score, whether it be a touchdown or today in this case a field goal by Jesus Gomez, who had an earlier field goal blocked in the game, but was able to nail his 49-yarder with just over 2.5 minutes left. This wasn't a consistent effort by any means by the ASU offense or by the ASU defense or by the special teams for that matter, but some way, somehow, they really do find a way to win. Came up a little better out of the bye week compared to what we saw in the road game against Utah with the earlier bye week. But again, this ASU team shows the resolve, shows the resiliency. Yes, I know I'm repeating myself when I talk about those terms, but how else can I describe another white-knuckle ASU win in Big 12 play?
Yeah, Hoden, when it comes to offense, it's pretty clear that the game was decided in the second quarter. 3 passing touchdowns from Jeff Sims, and the Sun Devils didn't record any other touchdowns in any other quarter of the game. You mentioned it, Jesus Gomez with the nail in the coffin with that field goal, but what did you make out of ASU's offense holistically?
Well, I was just really curious to see how ASU is going to approach their game plan, because we knew West Virginia is going to be a very, very hard time to run the ball against, and I think ASU had about 123 rushing yards, although Jeff Sims did have 81 of those yards. So Justin still was able to run the ball when he had to and move the chains and keep drives alive. But obviously, all the talk was going to be, okay, now Jeff Sims as a passer. And even though the skies are pretty cloudy, trust me, it was plenty sunny when Jeff Sims was actually throwing for 3 touchdowns in the second quarter. And his final numbers are pretty impressive. 19 out of 28 yards passing, 207 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Did have that fourth down fumble, which was at the time crucial because it helped West Virginia to get back in the game. But as far as the passing game, also we need to mention wide receiver Derek Esubio, 6 receptions, 74 yards, 1 touchdown, which was a 19-yard reception. All of those are career highs for Derek Esubio. So he can stop talking about that 64-yard touchdown that he had against U of A down in Tucson last year, and now talk about a great game today. Tight end Shaban Meteor, 4 receptions for 21 yards, but did have a touchdown. And I did like the fact that Justin was able to spread the ball among multiple wide receivers. So again, in terms of the passing game, needing more from Jeff Sims, he did deliver. Was it consistent? No, it wasn't consistent, but again, just enough in pretty much every department of ASU to come away with the victory. And I think that this win should give Jeff Sims and the offense just as much confidence as the Iowa State win did give this side of the ball. Obviously against Iowa State, it was all about pounding the ball, and today is just passing the ball. And again, throwing for 3 touchdowns in 1 quarter. That's a feat that many great quarterbacks at ASU here were not able to achieve. But now Jeff Sims maybe has his name in another page of ASU's history book.
Yeah, and another big trend of the season is this ASU defense kind of being able to close the gap when the offense feels a little bit stagnant. Obviously, Keith Abney with the game-winning interception, but also just all around, and the defensive line, Justin Watley was given the game ball by Clayton Smith. I mean, all around, a great performance from the defense. What did you make out of it?
Yeah, I think that the defense still has a tendency to start our game slow. We're only able to give up a field goal in that opening drive. But I think we saw a lot of bend but not break, because West Virginia had 2 turnovers by downs, both of them in the red zone. So you definitely have to tip your hat to the ASU defense. And by the way, one of those scoring drives by Jeff Sims was as a result of a turnover by downs that put ASU offense on their own 4-yard line. So the defense definitely helped the offense over here. They did give up 13 points in the fourth quarter. That is less than ideal. Obviously, relinquished the lead with 6.5 minutes left. But who else but Keith Abney was having another monster game. And ASU fans, I think, just make sure you enjoy Keith Abney for the next 2 games and the postseason game, wherever that game is going to be, because I think he's going to enter the NFL draft. Just another great game and a game-sealing interception in the waning moments of this game. But like I said, a lot of pressure up front that was able to stifle a pretty strong ground attack by West Virginia. But their passing game did hit on a lot of cylinders today. You got to tip your hat also to your freshman quarterback, Scotty Fox, 353 yards passing. Did have two touchdowns, but passing. Again, did have the interception for Keith Abney, but nonetheless, I think he gave a lot of fits to the ASU defense, able to run the ball quite well at times. But again, I think the defense, maybe not so much with the effort in the fourth quarter, stands the interception, but really with the effort in the first 3 quarters, were able to make sure that they had just enough gap to go ahead and make sure the offense could overcome, because West Virginia did not light up the scoreboard by any means. And let's not forget, Justin, this is the West Virginia offense that just a couple weeks ago went into Houston, who's still a contender for the Big 12 championship game, and hung 45 points on the road. So for them to have just about half of that output, you definitely have to commend the ASU defense. Just we can talk about survive and advance about this team. This ASU defense, again, bend but not break, was able to do it again today.
And now all the speculation surrounds how does ASU make its way back to the Big 12 championship. Obviously, they've got to win out, and a great start for that today against West Virginia, but they need some help with all these wonky tiebreaker scenarios, and they got some help from their arch rival in U of A today, beating Cincinnati, a huge win for ASU in their hopes of potentially making it back to Arlington. But next week, going to Boulder in Colorado, again, another must-win game. What do the Sun Devils have to do to kind of respond from this success?
Well, for every ASU fan that was rooting for U of A to beat Cincinnati, not shame on you, because it does help, like Justin said, in some 3-team tie scenarios in order to make it to the Big 12 championship game. ASU and Cincinnati and another team like BYU, another team like Utah, that's something actually that could work in ASU's favor. But like I said, Justin, first and foremost, ASU has to win the next 2 games, and first up is the road game at Colorado. And we always talk about ASU looking like a different team on the road than they do at home. I know Colorado is one of the worst teams in the Big 12, but it wasn't like West Virginia came over here as a contender for the Big 12 championship game. So ASU is really going to have to clean up the mistakes that they did have today to make sure that they can secure that win in Boulder. But again, I think the offense can really take a lot of confidence of how Jeff Sims played. Didn't rush for the gaudy numbers that he had at Iowa State. Maybe didn't play for consistent quarters, but ultimately, when he throws not 1 but 3 touchdown passes in 1 quarter, really is able to spread out the ball, getting a wide receiver like Derek Esubio involved. I think those are like huge positives for the Sun Devils as they go into the last true road game of the year.
Well, thank you, Hode, for your insight. A huge win for the Sun Devils, improving to 5-2 in Big 12 play. We'll be in Boulder to catch all the coverage, and also all the coverage throughout next week leading up to that. So stay locked in. Go to DevilsDigest.com. Follow Devils Digest on Twitter at Devils Digest. Once again, we'd like to thank our sponsors and Burrito Express and San Ford. And as always, for publisher Hode Rubino, I'm Justin Lestratosa. We'll talk to you guys next week.